Okay, so looks like we're diving into the world of legal assistance in the U.S., specifically how to access it, even if you're on a tight budget.
Yeah.
We've got a stack of resources here,
Right.
including this interesting YouTube video
Okay.
that breaks down the process step by step.
Cool.
Let's see what gems we can unearth.
Access to legal representation is crucial for a fair justice system, but
Yeah.
the costs can be daunting.
For sure.
Fortunately, there are resources available, and understanding them can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. The video jumps right into public defenders for criminal cases. Makes sense.
Right.
But they kept hammering on how you have to prove you can't afford a lawyer.
Right.
I bet that's more complicated than it sounds.
It can be.
Yeah.
The thing is, in the U.S., the Sixth Amendment guarantees everyone the right to an attorney,
Oh, okay.
even if they can't afford one.
Gotcha.
Public defenders exist to fulfill that, right?
Right.
But to qualify, you usually need to provide pretty solid documentation.
Right.
Think pay stubs,
Uh-huh.
tax returns,
Okay.
maybe even proof of expenses.
So showing up with just your word isn't going to cut it.
Huh. Probably not.
The video actually recommended bringing that proof to your very first court appearance.
Oh, wow.
The arraignment.
Smart move.
Yeah. But what about if you're dealing with something that isn't a crime?
Right.
Like, say, you're getting evicted or need a divorce.
That's where legal aid organizations step in.
Okay.
They're nonprofits focused on civil cases,
Okay.
things like housing,
Yep.
family law,
Uh-huh.
even issues with debt collectors.
Makes sense.
One of the biggest is the Legal Services Corporation, the LSC.
The video mentioned them, yeah.
Yeah.
They suggested checking their website for a directory or calling 211. I have no idea. 211 could connect you with lawyers.
It's a surprisingly useful resource for all kinds of community services.
Huh.
But back to legal aid,
Yeah.
these organizations often run on a shoestring budget,
Really?
relying on grants and donations.
Well,
So they can be stretched thin, unfortunately.
that makes sense. Now, there was this term that came up that I've always been curious about.
Okay.
Pro bono.
Pro bono.
It sounds kind of fancy.
It does have a certain ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a simple concept.
Okay.
Lawyers working for free.
Oh.
Often they'll take cases that resonate with them personally or align with their area of expertise.
So it's like a heart and soul kind of thing.
Yeah.
I could see how that would be fulfilling.
Right.
The video mentioned checking with state bar associations to find pro bono lawyers, though they did warn about long wait lists.
That's the downside.
Yeah.
Demand definitely outstrips supply when it comes to free legal help.
Oh, for sure.
Some states, like Texas,
Okay.
have specific websites to help connect people with pro bono services.
Oh, wow.
Texas Law Help.org was one example.
Okay, get this. The video actually said law schools could be a source of legal help,
Really?
like places like Harvard or Yale.
Interesting.
That just seems crazy to me.
It does sound a bit surreal, right?
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Lots of law schools, even smaller, local ones, run legal clinics.
Oh, wow.
These clinics give law students a chance to get real-world experience under the guidance of their professors.
So it's kind of like a win-win.
Exactly.
They learn and you get help.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of cases do these clinics usually handle?
It varies, but the video gave examples like immigration law,
Okay.
help with wills and estate planning, even smaller claims court stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the video also mentioned self-help centers.
Okay.
Honestly, that sounds a bit intimidating to me.
It can seem that way at first,
Yeah.
but they're really there to empower you.
Okay.
These centers, often found in courthouses,
Yeah.
offer workshops and templates for common legal processes.
Wait, so they give you the tools to handle things yourself?
They do.
I bet that's a huge money saver.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine you need to file for an uncontested divorce, for example.
Okay.
Instead of paying a lawyer thousands.
Yeah. You could learn the process and do the paperwork yourself with guidance from a self-help center.
Oh, wow.
California's self-help center actually got a big shout out in the video.
That's awesome. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah?
There was one more term that caught my eye.
Okay.
Limited scope representation.
Limited scope representation.
I have no clue what that means.
It's actually a pretty ingenious way to make legal help more affordable.
Okay.
The basic idea is that you hire a lawyer just for specific parts of your case.
Oh.
Say you need help understanding a complicated contract,
Uh-huh.
or you want someone to review a document before you file it.
Okay.
You don't need them for every step of the case, just for specific expertise.
Oh, so it's like going to a specialist doctor.
Exactly.
You go to the cardiologist for your heart, not for a broken leg.
That's a great analogy.
And just like with specialists, you can save a lot of money.
You can.
The video claimed people could reduce their legal fees by 70% or more using this approach.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is... Okay, last thing from the video. What about fee waivers?
Fee waivers.
Is that really a thing?
It is. Courts recognize that not everyone can afford to pay filing fees,
Right.
which can be hundreds of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
So they have a process for waiving those fees for people with very low income.
I bet there's a ton of paperwork involved.
There is, unfortunately.
Well,
usually you need to fill out a form called an Informa Pauperis request.
Informa Pauperis.
Or IFP.
IFP.
It's basically a detailed declaration of your financial situation.
Okay.
But if you qualify, it can make a real difference.
This has been so eye-opening.
Yeah.
I always knew legal help was out there.
Right.
But I never realized how many options actually exist. I feel like I could actually point someone in the right direction now.
That's the power of knowledge, isn't it?
It is.
And while this deep dive focused on the U.S.,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder.
What's that?
What does access to legal help look like in other countries? What kind of challenges do they face and what solutions have they come up with? That's something worth exploring further.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my